They would later say it was obvious, a pattern hiding in plain sight, a small, almost insignificant detail that was present every single time, a clue so simple, so consistent, so unmistakable that people could only wonder how the entire town missed it. But they did. Everyone did, until it was too late. The story begins in Briarwood, a quiet lakeside town tucked behind the mountains, where people left their doors unlocked and knew each other's dogs by name. Nothing bad ever happened there. Nothing more serious than a break-in at the hardware store or a teenager caught drag racing at midnight. So when the disappearances began, the police didn't panic. They assumed each case was isolated, a runaway situation, a domestic dispute, an accident. That's how it always starts. The first person to vanish was Matthew Clark, a 29-year-old mechanic who stayed late one night fixing a client's truck. His coworkers said he locked up the shop around 11:30 p.m. and walked toward the diner across the street, but he never made it home. Because it was late winter and the roads were icy, police assumed he slipped or crashed somewhere off the trail. For days, volunteers combed the woods, the shoreline, and the ravines. Nothing, not a footprint, not a glove, not a tire mark. The only odd detail, the mechanic's overalls, his spare pair, were missing from his locker. But nobody connected that to anything. 2 weeks later, a retired schoolteacher, Lena Drury, disappeared next. Her neighbor reported that her front door was wide open at 4 a.m. and her porch light was flickering. The police found the house empty and the kettle still warm. Again, no signs of a struggle, no forced entry, no theft. The only strange thing anyone noticed was that her favorite cardigan, the one she always wore, even in summer, was missing from the coat hook by her door. But nobody connected that either. The third case was different. A teenager named Riley Turner vanished from the parking lot of a gas station. This time there was security footage, grainy but clear enough. It showed Riley stepping out of his car, stretching, yawning, and then stiffening suddenly like he'd heard something. He turned to the right, facing the row of dumpsters. Then he walked toward them. Then he was gone. The footage ended there. No attacker, no struggle, no movement in the shadows, just Riley, walking into darkness and never coming back out. When police investigated the scene, they found something strange. One of Riley's hoodies was missing from the backseat of his car. It was then the rumor started, the one that would spread quietly at first, like a whisper between grocery aisles. If someone disappears, something of theirs disappears too. The police didn't like rumors. They ignored them. They said the missing clothes were coincidences. Items misplaced, borrowed, lost. But the families didn't believe that. They noticed something else, too. Something nobody could explain. All three victims had received anonymous gifts in the week before they vanished. Matthew received a toolbox. Lena received a potted plant. Riley received a keychain with his initials engraved. Each gift came with the same tag. Saw this and thought of you. No name. No return address. Still, the clue slipped past everyone. There were bigger problems. More people began to disappear. The fourth case broke the pattern, or at least they thought it did. A single mother, Samantha Klein, vanished while picking up her daughter from a sleepover. The child saw her mother step out of the car, wave goodbye, and walk around to the passenger side to buckle her in. But when the girl climbed into the front seat, her mother wasn't there. The street was silent. The neighbors hadn't heard anything. The porch lights were steady. The snow was untouched. She had disappeared in seconds. Inside her car, police found everything in place. The purse, the keys, the groceries, the daughter's backpack. Everything except one thing, Samantha's favorite scarf. The one her daughter had picked out for her birthday. The one she never left home without. And like all the others, Samantha had received a gift days earlier. A candle. Scented. Lavender. With the same tag, saw this and thought of you. Now the police were nervous. Now they knew something was wrong. But they still didn't see the clue, not the one that mattered, not the one staring them in the face. It wasn't until the fifth case that the truth started to unravel. A local mail carrier, Thomas Hale, vanished at dawn. One moment he was sorting letters in the back of the post office. The next, he was gone. But this time, something was left behind. A note, folded, neat, placed on his sorting table. The same paper, the same handwriting, the same message. Saw this and thought of you. But inside the note was something new, a scrap of fabric, gray, soft, fleece-like, exactly the kind of material Thomas's uniform jacket was made of. Finally, police asked, why did something always disappear with the person? Why did a piece of clothing vanish every time? Was it a trophy, a ritual, a message? But that wasn't the clue everyone missed. Not yet. The real one, the clue that could have saved them, was still out there, still waiting to be noticed. Meanwhile, townspeople became terrified. Nobody walked alone. Nobody trusted phone calls from unknown numbers. Local stores saw a spike in customers buying flashlights, locks, and pepper spray. The anonymous gifts continued. Dozens of residents received them now. Candles, bookmarks, plants, pens, chocolates, each one with the same tag, each one harmless. But every person who received a gift lived in fear that they might be next. Still, none of them noticed the clue, because the clue wasn't the object, or the tag, or the handwriting. The clue was something deeper, something they carried with them every day, something too close to see. Then came the break, an accident, if anything. A local librarian named Ella Marsh was closing up when she noticed a man standing outside the window, watching her. When she stepped outside to leave, he turned away, walking quickly down the sidewalk. She recognized him instantly. Everyone did. His name was Peter Whitlow, 43, quiet, polite, worked at the hardware store, volunteered at the animal shelter, the kind of man you'd trust to house-sit your dog. Ella didn't suspect him of anything sinister. She just thought he seemed lonely. That night, when she reached home, she noticed a package on her doorstep. A book. A rare edition she'd mentioned wanting years ago. And the tag, saw this and thought of you. Ella froze, because she remembered something suddenly, something she had forgotten until that exact moment. Her mother had received a similar gift years earlier, a vase, with the same message. Her mother died the same week, natural causes, a heart condition nobody knew she had. But now Ella wasn't so sure, because she remembered something else too. Peter was the one who found her mother's body, and he was wearing her mother's sweater when the paramedics arrived. He'd said she gave it to him before she died. The family believed him. Why wouldn't they? Ella stared at the gift on her doorstep and felt her stomach twist, because suddenly the clue was clear. It had always been the same clue, the one nobody saw, the one nobody questioned. The gifts didn't predict the victims. The gifts weren't sent before the disappearances. The gifts were taken from the victims after they disappeared, then given to the next target. The items weren't random, they weren't thoughtful, they weren't gifts, they were warnings. A chain, a cycle, a pattern that connected every victim. Every missing person had unknowingly held something that once belonged to the one taken before them. The killer always left behind a piece of the previous victim, as an introduction, as a way of saying, "You're next." And when Ella realized that, when she finally understood, it was already too late. Because someone knocked on her door. 3 soft knocks, polite, familiar, and when she looked through the peephole, she saw the same sweater the killer had worn years ago. The same sweater her mother once owned. The same sweater she never got back. Everyone had missed the clue. Everyone, until that moment. But clues only matter when there's still time to act. For Ella Marsh, there wasn't.